A man's touching this massive skin sack before him, then plucks a hair from the sack without further ado. With a sweep of his laser eye, he immediately has the answer. He claims it's a pigskin, but the king disagrees. Next comes a serious man, who carefully observes through his telescope. The princess seems nervous, because whoever identifies this animal skin, gets to marry her. The serious man earnestly declares it to be the skin of a forest deity, but the king laughs and says it's not. The princess relaxes a bit. Then, a handsome knight strides forward.
Father,
A moment. What is it?
I'm longing to know. Just tell me what piece that strange eye belongs to.
But
After examining, the knight confidently asserts it's the skin of a giant sea cow. The princess looks hopefully at her father. The king, somewhat apologetically, says it's not. At this moment, an ugly wild man walks in. Soldiers stop the wild man.
no. Everyone has the right to guess.
The princess looks at the wild man in horror. The wild man just sniffs, then decisively states it's the skin of a flea. The king hadn't expected someone to guess the answer. How could a flea's skin be so large? It turns out, a few years ago, the princess was performing in the center of the stage, when a flea crawled onto the king's hand. He wanted to smack it, but as soon as he opened his right hand, the flea jumped onto his palm. The king found it interesting, so he flipped his left hand over, and the flea obediently hopped over. The flea became the king's new pet. The king pricked his finger, watching the flea feed through a magnifying glass, preparing a luxurious villa for it. He observed the flea's growth every day, and soon, the flea grew as big as a finger. The king even made a handcart for it, letting the flea pull it back and forth 300 times a day. The king fed the flea meat every day, making it as big as a dog in no time. But a few months later, the flea suddenly couldn't make it.